Hey everyone, welcome to another Crypt Campfire and Choose Your Nightmare.
Last week, we continued deep diving Scamp and all his alt storyline possibilities with Ryan and Alyssa, his love story, becoming a worldwide success, crossing into another crypt monster world, potentially. This week, we're going to wrap out the last bit of this Scamp Choose Your Nightmare development, present our top 3 submissions for the Scamp Mad Lib, and in Discord, you vote who wins the Scamp token. And we are going to show you some awesome merch that a community member created based on the Scamp token they own. More on that later. We also have a special guest this week, a couple special guests, who are going to share their journey of telling horror stories and building a community through the lens of creativity and, of course, collaboration. Aaron and Victoria, they're of Social House Films production studio, where they focus on original feature films, short films, and music videos. They even have a fun short film that was presented on Crypt TV's channel, Bedhead, I believe it is. And so maybe we start there. First off, welcome. Thank you for coming on. What inspired Bedhead, I guess?
Ooh, this one's a fun story.
Yeah, this is what started it all. This was our real segue into horror, actually. I really it sort of started off with a very practical reason. I bought a new camera, and I just wanted to do a camera test. And I figured instead of just sort of like setting up the camera and filming Victoria, we decided to just sort of write out like a little short film.
It was the Ursa Black Magic Ursa Mini Pro. So we still use that one. Yeah, that one's mostly used for all of our shorts.
Black Magic.
Yeah, we love that one.
And we just came up with this little idea of Victoria making the bed, throwing the sheet on the bed, and as the sheet would fall, there was this creature head underneath. This was also sort of when I was getting into playing around with some very simple visual effects. And so this was sort of just the marriage of all these things that I wanted to test out and try. And then Victoria was getting interested in sort of creature makeup and special effects makeup. So we put all this together into I think it's about 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes,
something like that. Yeah.
And it just kind of worked. It was like a happy accident.
It was so much fun. Like at the time, I hadn't really been acting yet, so he's telling me what to do, and I was like, okay. And I'm making the bed. And by the way, if you watch the short, my character has to fling the sheet across. She's making the bed. I, for the life of me, couldn't get the sheet to actually land across the bed. So I'm doing it like 17 times, and Aaron would come over and be like, just whip it. And I'd be like, I know what I'm doing.
There are a lot of outtakes of Victoria saying, I can't get it. I'm making the bed. This is how I do it.
So it was so much fun making that bed a billion times.
Well, and just to interject, I love that the ethos that you two present of this like so organic approach to creating, and that's essentially what we're here to do with Crypt TV. I come from Block of Horror. Is how do we essentially get people to go, hey, let's go create stuff. Like let's in any way we can. Like even if we're learning, even if we're not the uber super duper professional, like ultimately you have collaboration, you have partnerships. Like we can make stuff, right? We can make cool, fun, exciting, obviously horror type content and storylines. And so I just love that that's kind of like the ethos of what inspired you two, is this real feeling of, hey, who cares? Let's go make something. Let's go have fun with it. And you can really sense that with how you all present that, but also like in the short itself, is that there, even though obviously like, low budget, there's just like such a like passion driven throughout the whole experience. And you can feel that even with every sheet throw over the bed and just that tension. And it's, it just really is really great, to be honest. I love that.
Thank you.
That's what we try to bring, with the behind the scenes videos too, is sort of showing people that, you don't need a lot of money to put these together. And it's really just a matter of how your own creativity. And it's a lot of fun. And we just want to show people that really anyone can do this. It's very possible.
That's definitely what I would say. One of my little sayings used to be create every damn day. because I just think that there are stories that can be told for next to no money, and there are stories that do require a budget. But, you know, if you want to be making something and really putting your work out to the world, just keep focusing on those stories that you can tell for a very, very stripped down budget. And honestly, even though it's a little bit frustrating as a creator or writer, because you want to tell the big, oh, and I want this camera movement and I want all these characters and da-da, it really puts you in a creative box where you need to figure your way out. You need to figure out an interesting way to keep someone's attention for a while. So I think that when you do eventually get greenlit for a lot of money, you'll be even stronger when you just work on the lean side.
This. I just want to tell all the aspiring filmmakers out there, be ready to be great is a phrase that a very smart person told me. And that means practice every day, practice making something every day. So when the opportunity comes to you, you are ready to be great. You are ready to grab that opportunity and you're ready to take it. And you've learned all of these things along your way so that when you're presented with the opportunity, you're like, I know exactly what I'm going to do here. And you're not scrambling.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it reminds me of a job opportunity I had once upon a time, and I won't make this about me much, is basically when I read the description, I realized, wait a second, for the first time in my life, I'm like, this checks all the boxes of everything I've literally been doing the last 5-10 years. And it was just like the most like, I'm going to go apply to that. And I actually think like I would be the perfect candidate. And then they hired me. And it was just like, you know, because sometimes, especially when you're starting out in your professional life, you know, you see these opportunities, you're like, I mean, I know I could do that, but I don't have experience with that or like this type of thing. But, you know, it's just that kind of, I think to Alyssa's point is the more just, hey, if you're passionate about something, just do it, get better at it. And, you know, over time, eventually, you know, things I think find their way of kind of working in your favor.
Exactly.
So love that.
Everybody starts somewhere and it all goes somewhere. It doesn't matter how long it takes. If you're learning a little bit every day, you're adding to your expertise and your knowledge. And one day that's going to come in handy. You don't know when it's going to be, but one day it will.
100% agree. Yeah. And Ryan, I think you had some questions too. Feel free.
In that vein, I was going to ask because sort of on the top of what we're talking about here, you made this short sort of offhand in a way to test out your camera, and then it gets featured on Crypt TV's channel. Like, walk me, how did that happen? Walk me through that.
We were so pumped. Didn't we just get an email from, it was Derek at the time.
Yeah, we
just got an email and we were like,
funny.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on the Crypt TV side at the time, but when we got the email, we were so jazzed. We were like, okay, and now we want to do this all the time. So it really, we have a lot. We were so happy to get your message today and like get more involved with Crypt TV because I think of Crypt TV as, you know, really something that helped us validate, like, let's keep doing this. So this was so much fun for us personally, but now
and you guys have gotten like, this is crazy. I'm looking at your channel right now. So Bedhead, you posted 3 years ago on your channel, 2.6 million views. That's pretty fantastic. But 1 year ago, you posted the ballerina, 13 million views.
Ballerinas are big gal. Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
That's
Thank
wild.
you.
Well, okay, so clearly you've like learned some things along the way. Do you have like some like hot tips for, you know, everyone who comes in here always asking like,
and
how
they
do I
have a
make
couple
movies?
more on their channel, guys, that are not featured on Crypt that maybe we should feature on Crypt. But yeah, there's the ballerina, there's Diet with 6.5 million views, Bedhead, which we have, and then Devil's Door has also 2 million views.
You got to check out Diet too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Diet's a fun one.
I want to make a sequel to Diet, actually.
He's the one to do it.
You should. You absolutely should.
He calls it the cleanse.
Right.
And so do you guys do these makeup effects yourself, or tell us a little bit about your makeup effects or computer effects?
Sure. So I'll start with the practical makeup effects. I do most of them. There are a few specific shorts that we have brought in professionals for, and then that's been great for me to work with a professional and also learn from the professional. But, you know, like the Bedhead monster, for example, is one of my favorite monsters that was ever created. And that was just a labor of love of watching a lot of those special effects YouTube tutorials where, you know, a little bit of it was seeing something someone had already done. So, okay, I understand bald cap, maybe some saran wrap to give it some texture, latex, et cetera, et cetera. But then like the claws were my own engineering where those are really, really long. They're maybe like 2 feet long. And I used a bunch of Chinese finger traps that I adhered together so that way they'd have more texture and like move in this spider-like vein. And then I spray painted those and then put points at the end. So the finger traps were great because it really helped me, the performer, keep them on my fingers. So it was like $1 for a pack of 50 finger trap, or $10 for a pack of whatever, and then the spray paint. It was the claws that are incredible. I've used many times, or I have at home, and like they took me about 2 to 3 hours to make, and I think they cost me about $20. So
And
I highly recommend.
I think we wrapped my head in Saran wrap.
Saran wrap.
And then like use toilet paper or something. Yeah.
Deconstructed cotton ball. Anyone out there that makes horror at home is clocking everything I'm saying. They're like, I clocked the Saran wrap, I know the deconstructed cotton ball, the toilet paper, the latex. That's very much of like 101 homebrew. But you know what? I actually still really, I don't want to like upset professional makeup artists out there, but I really love that really like that something about that homebrewed look feels
very DIY,
very textured and very like, oh, what is that? Whereas sometimes we've done monster builds that were more expensive and you have too much prosthetic on that it's just, it doesn't really carry that same fear for me because I can see that it's like a, that it's really like prosthetic based. So I probably live a little bit more in liking that DIY.
Wow. This is awesome, by the way. I'm actually just like, I just want to listen and talk about how you're making all these costumes and horror makeup. I think that's really fantastic.
Do you do any special effects in post-production as well?
So yeah, I've also sort of part of my evolution has been learning a little bit of After Effects and really pushing Adobe Premiere Pro to its absolute limit. But some of the best creatures that we've created started off with just a little bit of makeup on, Victoria or someone else. And then I'll just sort of zhuzh it up in After Effects. And sometimes we'll take like a monster mask. We actually have one right here. You should grab it. We'll hold up a monster mask sort of in the space where the person playing the monster just was. They went through the action. And then I'll sort of grab like a little piece of like texture. And I'll take that texture and I'll just sort of track it on the face. And it's sort of, we're able to like take something that someone else did and then just apply it to like the actor's face. And I think that's like the most realistic. That's really better than, we're not professional special effects makeup artists. So the best thing we can do is just sort of like use things around the house or masks that we buy and put it on somebody's real face.
That's how we did the diet monster, which is the diet thumbnail. It's actually just my regular face with like maybe one layer of makeup on, and I'm making a, like a scary open mouth face. And then he took some elements of different masks that we had and then did that in post.
What's this guy's name?
This is Fester. Uncle Fester.
Uncle Fester.
And I hide him in the closet when guests come, and then I make sure to leave the closet just slightly open so that he stares at them while they're sleeping. He's my pal.
Well, and to your point, I think that's very validated because the motion capture elements that are used on billion-dollar type films like Avatar, is a great example of exactly that. Is they want to capture the actual performer's kind of real vibe and feel and whatnot. Whereas if it was just like an animatronic or, like full, like too many layers of the wrong type of thing, it could kind of cloud that authenticity, that realism almost. So I think you're very valid in that approach.
Let me just add something about Avatar 2 special effects that I learned because that movie is so crazy. What is makeup and what's practical effects and what is CGI.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys know Corridor Digital, check out their channel. They analyze a lot of special effects and they do special effects. So they talked to someone who worked on Avatar 2, and there is that one shot that is kind of famous now of the guy, the Avatar guy, his arm, and then he's wrapping a strap around his arm. Mm-hmm. And people were arguing, okay, is that a real or did they do makeup? The person... it was makeup on the arm. So it's for this one shot, it's makeup on the arm, and they did makeup in a way that like accounts for the diffusion of light from that angle. So they like painted the way the light would be diffusing on the arm to make it realistic from that angle only so that it would work and so that they wouldn't have to do any CGI. So if they move the angle, it wouldn't work anymore, but they like painted as if the sunshine was shining through blue fingers and you could see pink, but they like painted that on there.
That's incredible.
It's crazy what they can do. So yeah, if you're interested in special effects, check out Corridor Digital because they talk to
Interesting.
Really cool
Interesting.
people.
I was going to say too, for anyone listening, you should definitely check out Social House Films page, because after every horror short, they also post behind the scenes and they break down what they do. And so there's been like a really good, like little techniques you guys share with everyone, I thought, right? Like where did that come from? Why did you guys decide to do that too?
I mean, you know, I've seen, of course, David F. Sandberg's channel, and I saw that he would share how he does what he does, and I remember him saying that he would love watching the Blu-rays behind the scenes on how filmmakers that he looked up to did that, and it's really just sort of passing the baton of like, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and maybe we'll inspire someone else, and you know, it's there's.
I think that's also like just the other side of the coin. You know, we show the finished product of the short, but then it's like we really love the community that we've built, but also that we've been introduced to in the YouTube horror world. And it's as much as we can connect with them, being showing them what we're up to, watching other people how they make theirs. It just makes the whole community feel more and more like we're doing this together. We're telling great stories together. Share, you know, excel, evolve.
That's what brought us to this choose your nightmare type kind of storytelling vehicle, is asking the question, how can we bring a community into the creative process, even from potentially the very beginning? And so it's been a very interesting experience getting a chance to really pick the brain of Crypt's community and see, you know, especially with our Scamp monster, you know, what else can we come up with like the lore and like how far we can take it, and then potentially actually put that in a kind of canonized version of, you know, where this story kind of goes and can take a new form, so to speak. So love that you have that same kind of view on it, because ultimately we agree. We think, you know, I think ultimately, as much as a community can have access to the process, I think that's just going to fuel everyone's kind of love of the whole, you know, the whole project, the ethos, and just everything involved. So I think that's super awesome.
They're not only making shorts for YouTube, you guys are now making feature films as well, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that too?
So tomorrow, like this time tomorrow, we're actually flying out to go start filming our next feature film, a feature full-scale horror. This is going to be the most upsetting. I mean, I don't think of horror as upsetting, but you know, it's going to be the furthest that we've pushed the horror needle yet. So wish us luck. We'll see you guys on the other side.
We're basically just taking everything that we've learned over the past couple of years, putting together these short films, and just, you know, putting it into a full-length movie. And we spent a lot of time, you know, writing something that's personal and terrifying.
I think
personal in that we're actually shooting this in my childhood home that Victoria thought was haunted the first time she saw it.
It has trapdoors. What home has trapdoors? I don't understand.
A haunted one.
But Aaron just mentioned something that I think maybe some other filmmakers would be interested in expanding on is, you know, we've been doing this horror YouTube channel of shorts for about 3 years now, learning, growing, and I think if you were to watch some from the beginning and watch some more recent, you'd see some interesting growth. You know, over that time, we've had a few really big hits, like you mentioned, The Ballerina, you mentioned Devil's Door. Those are shorts that we can see people really enjoyed. We can see the viewership spike. Even in YouTube analytics, you can see where people watch most playback. You know, you can scrub to that. So it was a wonderful tool for us to use, where we just looked at our entire body of work over these 3 years and we said, okay, what scares were doing really, really well? What type of storyline were people really most interested in? And that's what we extracted to make this movie. So hopefully we're just using all the cream from these past 3 years to make something that people are really going to like. At least that's what, fingers crossed. I hope I like it. I think it's
I love that you guys are using the data and the analytics. That's awesome. That's very similar to what we've done at Crypt as well.
Yeah. Keep us posted. We, you know, as that develops, and we'd love to support and however we can. And yeah, super excited.
So are you guys doing this independently, or how's it being funded?
Yeah, this one's totally independent. Yeah. We learned how to stretch a dollar these past 3 years. Thank you.
Yeah, great work, guys, and yeah, good perseverance. I'm just proud of you. You're just like part of the fam.
Thank you very much. Well, we cut our teeth on Crypt TV, you know, so we're always gonna feel that happy kinship.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely keep in touch with our community and keep us updated so that we can keep supporting you, because that's very exciting that you guys are doing a feature now based on all your work so far. That's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
I'll go see it wherever it plays. Just tell me, I'll go see it. So.
Well, you guys are all invited to the premiere. We always do pull out all the stops for a big swanky premiere here, and assuming you guys are all in Los Angeles. So yeah.
I will 100% show up if I get an invite. I'm there.
You are 100% invited.
It's actually a good lesson. Actually, I've learned this the hard way. You know, when you're genuinely trying to be a nice person and people offer you things, you go, oh no, I won't take that. What I've learned in my life now is no, when someone offers, you go, absolutely, I'll take that. Yeah, and you just smile and say, yep, I'll do that.
Yes,
so if we're invited, we're going.
Yes, and.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Well, okay. So how can people sort of stay up with everything you're doing? Like, I know you have the YouTube page, obviously, but like, is there anything else you're on? Twitter, TikTok? I've heard TikTok quite a bit.
I think, well, you do keep up the TikTok pretty well. YouTube is
yeah.
really our most, even though sometimes the community page is a little bit light, just because like right now we're in pre-production, that is where we put our biggest updates. It's like, this is what we're working on, and this is how, this is the status update. Can you think of anything else that we...
I mean, yeah, I would say our Social House Films Instagram, we post there a little bit, and then really our YouTube channel is the best way to keep up to date with what we're doing. We'll probably be posting some behind the scenes stuff while we're shooting our personal Instagrams.
Yeah, you get all the real sweet deets if you follow us, but that's not a plug to follow us. It's all about what we make on YouTube and the company.
Yeah. It's too late. I'm doing it. I'm going to follow you guys.
It's usually me in like 7 layers of clothes, like holding a boom or making food, or it's like the most raw behind the scenes look.
That's awesome.
I don't know how much you know about what we're doing here with this Choose Your Nightmare storytelling medium, a la, I think, Bandersnatch on Netflix, if you've seen it. How much do you know about this kind of like choose your own adventure storytelling or not? I'm just curious if you guys have seen anything or experienced anything or any thoughts about this type of medium.
I am really familiar with Bandersnatch. And then, I mean, obviously, the Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid. I love that. And then I am aware of Scamp and what you guys are building. I think it's really cool that you're using the community to have these sort of guideposts to help craft the story. But what's I was asking this a little bit earlier, are you doing it as like a fully interactive experience? Can viewers choose their adventure interactively on the screen?
Yeah, so that's the plan is, via this, there's new type of software available, generally speaking, but with one of our partners, you can basically create the storyline in a kind of like Premiere timeline that actually takes you through, kind of like Bandersnatch. You get to make a choice as an audience to go, hey, does Looksy kill this person or not, right? And then if you say yes, it's going to take you down a line of experience that may be different than if you said no. And then obviously, kind of like Bandersnatch, when it takes you to a certain place in the maze that you get stuck, well, it might pull you back to where that checkpoint to then keep going, what we call basically like the A storyline. So in theory, we've been creating this, A storyline, and then you'll have offshoots of different B, C, D, E, F, G, all kinds of stuff. But what I found most interesting so far through really developing this with everybody is it's an opportunity to take an A storyline that has really tight parameters, right? Like, Scamp has a short film. It's got a world and a lore to it that's already built and established. And so you can't really stray too far with your main storyline without it coming across maybe unauthentic and just kind of weird. But when you do this kind of like, let the audience decide, they can potentially decide an experience or fate that makes Scamp become something that, we can't even maybe think of right now, right? So it creates almost like an opportunity to explore subgenres and like alternative genres within a very specific genre unto itself in the same kind of experience. So, you could experience Scamp in a romance for a piece of the experience, but then he comes back to reality. You're back in the storyline, then take him somewhere else. And so just the possibilities of all those different kind of like freeing, opening Pandora's box of creativity is super interesting, just conceptually, and like liberating, I feel like, for almost everybody, in my opinion. So that's a really cool thing that I think would love to keep exploring and seeing how far we can push it and all that good stuff. So
I think that's a genius idea, and it's something that I would have loved to do.
Yeah.
That I would have just been like, "This is too intimidating for me to take on."
I just want to play it. I don't want to build it.
It's the type of thing that is honestly a dream to do.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why we wanted to invite the community into it, is because, yeah, I mean, we can go behind a silo and, try to do our own little thing. But we thought, well, no, like this is a great, it's almost like a different medium of content creation anyways. And so why not open it up, because your community is the one that's going to experience it anyways. So like they're going to be choosing their experience. So why not let them be a part of actually choosing what goes in the experience too? Is kind of how we're thinking about it. And we'll see, obviously we got to get to the production and make the thing and execute it. But the process, I think, has been really fun and interesting and rewarding in a lot of different ways. Hopefully other people agree, but
That's so
it's
cool.
been interesting.
So what's the next evolution of the project?
I mean, that's TBD. Honestly, at this point, I think, we want to execute on this first, see how that plays out. But, we've been talking kind of internally, and we'll probably open up to the community about maybe some next steps of doing some more choose your own adventure type stuff, or, other possibilities with different maybe monsters in the Crypt universe. So it's exploratory right now, but yeah, I'm sure if there's positive feedback, if people want more of this type of thing, I'm sure there'll be more in the future at some point.
Is there one thing you guys would love to see Crypt TV do? Is there one thing you're like, man, I would love to see something like this just happen? Do it.
I've been waiting for an announcement of a look-see movie for a while. When is that coming?
Yeah.
Right?
One day.
Right? Like, why hasn't it already happened yet?
I know.
And then like at the end of like the last episode where the second look-see hands appear, it's like, what is that? What's going on there? Right?
There's so much more.
Tell me more about that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. I follow all the news updates where I'm like, when am I going to see it? Any day now. I've been saying that for a while now, so maybe my hope is waning.
I mean, we'll do it.
There you go.
Hey, let's see how we can get Jack to
Call Mr. Crypt TV.
Any other final thoughts, questions? Thank you guys for joining us. This is really, I think, just great lessons and learning from your experiences creating horror content, and especially this kind of do-it-yourself fashion, which is, again, really what we want to emphasize with Crypt's community and the broader horror community, content community is really, coming together and let's go make stuff, right? Like ultimately, to me, art shouldn't be gatekept. It should be shared. And so the more we can find creative ways to come together to do fun, creative horror things, the better. So yeah, any final thoughts from anybody?
I mean, I think earlier you asked the question if, we had any advice for people trying to do this. And I would say two things.
Okay.
One is what we already went over. Of course, you have to practice. You have to just do it over and over and over and over to actually get decent at it. One of the hardest things to do in the world, I think, is make a movie with a cohesive story that just feels organic and real and genuine. And then number two, and it sounds super obvious in theory, but in practice, I think it's really difficult. You kind of have to visualize what it is that you're doing before you do it. I think, I remember the mindset that I was in when I used to make movies as a kid, or even as recently as like a few years ago. I kind of had a general idea of what a shot would look like or what a movie would feel like. And I would just arrive to set and I would just try to make it happen. Now I kind of do my best to really shot list and storyboard as many details as I can and actually see every moment in my head before I do it. And that, I think that just comes with experience, but that makes all the difference.
And then I would just add that over these years, we are a partnership both professionally and romantically. But, if you're able out there and you really want to start creating, it's so awesome to just find your partner, because we're working constantly and bouncing ideas and concepts off of each other constantly. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because he doesn't really like something that like my idea was bad, but it constantly makes me and vice versa. It just makes us get sharper, really feel like we need to focus up and feel accountable with each other. So if at all possible, if you have like a friend or someone else who's really passionate and you're looking in your community for that partner, it makes you work stronger, faster, harder. It's been amazing all these years.
No movie is made alone. No.
Truly, truly.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that, and love that insights from you all. But yeah, appreciate you hopping on and keep us Crypt up to speed with what as this feature gets developed. We'd love to continue to hear more about it, and yeah, we'll keep you abreast as far as this Choose Your Nightmare and where that goes, and see what more kind of stuff we can do in that kind of crazy zany world. So.
Thank you so much for having us. Really, we were really excited when we got your invitation.
Yeah. Yes, thank
Good
you.
luck with the movie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
See you all on the other side.
I'm nervous about it, but
No, don't be nervous. You got it.
We got it. Visualize it.
Alyssa, Ryan, any takeaways from that before we kick into some Scamp Mad Libs that the community submitted?
I mean, I think it really is just like doing it, right? Like it's just, you just got to do it. We get so many people coming in here asking, how can I do this? How can I be a part of this? It's like, just do it.
You really just got to try it, and don't put too much pressure on yourself or expectations. Right. Like sometimes I know I get this way. I'll get really excited about something that I want to do, and I want it to be done so that I can show it to people, and I want to be really proud of it, and I want it to be perfect. And as soon as I start doing it, I'm like, it's never going to happen this way. And it can be very discouraging, and I want to give up. But I think you just have to trust the process and trust that if you are taking the steps, like, you will reach the destination. You just have to take it one step at a time and learn along the way. And it may not be, your final product may not be what you had in your mind. And maybe you'll make that one day and maybe you won't. But you have to learn and just do your best. But you have to do it. You have to do it. You can't just think about it. You have to do it, and you will learn by doing it.
Well, and I think I might have said this once before, but just the first thing I ever wrote was a play, and it was an hour long, and it was like a 2-act structure, and it was in New York City, and I had some friends help do a reading of it, and a lot of them are like professional, like really high quality artists, and it was simultaneously the most terrifying and best experience artistically I think I've had to date. And because one of the actors was brilliant and made the work sound really actually quite good, and the other lead actor kind of made a mockery of everything. And so it was like every other word was amazing or terrible. But that type of experience frees you up for the next thing, right? It allows you to go, okay, that was a decent exercise, a good piece of work, whatever. Now I'm going to go on to the next thing. And now I have more confidence. Now, like, I know what it feels like to want to like melt away as people are, trashing your work. But on the other hand, but there was some positives to take away too. And so always finding that kind of, was it perfect? Nothing's perfect, especially in art. But did I learn something that I can take that away for the next thing, and then the next thing, and then all of a sudden you're professional. You're writing a screenplay that gets made into a movie, and all that good stuff that's going to come along with it. So just from that standpoint, it's okay to put yourself out there, and especially in an environment with people you trust or a community that supports you, to let it all out, so to speak, and just go, hey, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not always about being perfect. It's just about honestly just opening yourself up. And so as much as we can support that, we're all about too with anyone in the community. And so not saying, throw us your best ideas and we're going to talk it out, but if you have things you're working on or whatever, and you want to share them with people, by all means, that's the best way for you to grow, in my opinion. So I guess we can skip into, if everyone's okay with, we had some Scamp Mad Libs. A couple weeks ago, we launched them. Basically a way to help us a little bit inform some of the choose your nightmare qualities around Scamp in a fun kind of creative exercise. And so we had over a dozen submissions, and we chose, I wouldn't even say our top 3. We just chose 3 that we thought were interesting or different or what have you. And so from that, we'll post a vote in the Discord, and the winner of the whoever you guys vote for as a community is going to get one of our Scamp tokens, which basically all that is you can utilize a Scamp token to make some Scamp artwork however you would like. And then if you want to put a Scamp on a shirt, put it in a graphic novel, you can go do whatever you want with it. If you want to sell it on your website, do anything you want. And that's kind of the cool aspect of it. And we understand it's not for everyone, and that's perfectly okay too. It's just a perk that if you ever thought, wouldn't it be cool if Freddy Krueger was allowed for me to go make stuff with it, and like nobody would stop me, and I could like sell a cool Freddy shirt I designed to my friends, just that type of thing. If you think that's kind of a cool concept, that's what we're exploring with that. And so now I will give you our 3 Scamp Mad Libs. I'll try to read them in a very excited, awesome way to entertain you. All right, you ready for number 1? This is brought to you by Willie D. Once upon a time, there was a scamp, but their real name was Grarlarg, which sounds very on Scamp tone. When they were young, they always dreamed of finding their purpose in the universe, something that would make them feel alive. When Scamp got trapped on Earth, they lived in fear of a monster named Dream Screecher. One night, with Scamp's new adopted family, Scamp discovered a new power. When Scamp eats an animal or object, he temporarily gains attributes of that animal or object. It was unlike anything they'd ever had or seen before. They felt empowered and bold. Scamp even used their new power on a microwave and cooked a squirrel in a tree from 50 meters away. When the monster chasing him showed up, Scamp had to use his new power and fight back alone. Scamp was ready to take on the monster and save both Candy and Rodrigo. But once the fight was over, Scamp had to choose to leave the family once and for all. It was for their own protection. So that's Willie D's Scamp submission. What do you guys think? I think some of that's kind of fun. I really like that name. I think, Alyssa, you brought that up last week.
Yeah, I like the, what is it?
So it's spelled GGRAWRLARG.
Love it.
I think like seeing it on a screen is just gonna be like, oh yeah, that's got to be Scamp's name. So I thought that was fun. So let me do number 2. And some of this is obviously, we just heard most of this is pre-written, and then obviously the submission changed some details here and there. So this one was brought to you by Rudy One. Once upon a time, there was a scamp, but their real name was Big Wee. When they were young, they always dreamed of finding their own way in life, something that would make them feel liberated. When Scamp got trapped on Earth, they lived in fear of a monster named the Birch. One night, with Scamp's new adopted family, Scamp discovered a new power, one that could temporarily turn a human into an itty-bitty baby scamp. It was unlike anything they'd ever had before, anything they'd seen. They felt all grown up. Scamp even used their new power on a violent drunk guy, which managed to protect the man from himself before rocking him to sleep. When the monster chasing him showed up, Scamp had to use his newly discovered power and fight back alone. Scamp was ready to take on the monster and save both Candy and Rodrigo. But once the fight was over, Scamp had to choose to stay to protect his family. It was for their own good. The end. That was number 2. Any takeaways on that one?
I love the incorporation of the Birch in there. That's great.
Yeah. And I don't know, like to me, the baby scamps, I don't know.
Baby
sounds...
scamp, yeah. Honey, I scamped the humans.
Honey, I scamped the humans.
I love that.
That's pretty good.
That's El Inca. El Inca came up with that.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so this last one was brought by Tenacious D. This one's a different spin than I think any of the other submissions, which is why I think we went with it. So let's hear it out. See what you think. Once upon a time, there was a scamp, but their real name was Rascal. When they were young, they always dreamed of finding love, something that would make them feel warm inside. When Scamp got trapped on Earth, they lived in fear of a monster named Cake Man. One night, with Scamp's new adopted family, Scamp discovered a new power, one that could heal. It was unlike anything they'd ever had before. They felt glorious. Scamp even used their new power on a squirrel to fix a broken leg after a fall. When the monster chasing him showed up, Scamp had to use his newly discovered power and fight back alone. Scamp was ready to take on the monster and save Candy and Rodrigo. But once the fight was over, Scamp chose to stay with the family once and for all. It was for their own good.
Aww.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's an interesting, like, the assumption is monsters, right? And not saying all, but like have the power to do the bad thing. But to kind of mix it up, what if Scamp either has a power or she? I don't know. Well, what if they have a healing power?
Yeah, I like the healing power aspect. That's kind of cute,
right? Because then it puts Scamp in like a conundrum. Like he like bites your hand off, and he's like, "Oh, hold on, sorry, you were the wrong person. Let me heal it. Let me like
My
spits
bad.
it back together or something." I don't know. My bad. I really just want to have an entire episode where we just do Scamp voices and then do the episode with English subtitles.
Yes.
I don't know. No one would watch that, but it'd be funny. It'd be funny to create, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't want to influence people's decision. Again, you'll be able to vote in the Discord. We'll post that this week. We'll make an announcement. And and we had many great options. We'll work to actually showcase all those options on the Miro board and maybe even in the Discord. And so you can find the Miro board linked in the Discord as well. It's basically for us to start putting together the vision board, so to speak, of the Scamp Choose Your Nightmare and some interesting tidbits we've learned along the way, some creative notes and different things like that. So feel free to check that out. And now, all right. So before we get into we have two more things. But is there any final thoughts around the Choose Your Nightmare, what we've developed so far? I think we did a really good job with that A storyline. We deep dove the characters, the relationships, how they're interconnected. And then we, pulled out these like alt narratives, like what if Scamp became famous? And like, what if he fell in love with a cat? All kinds of crazy stuff. Is there any final thoughts or anything that were like, oh, I was sleeping and dreaming and I came up with a new idea. Like, what if this happened? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is there any crazy, zany, interesting story elements, character elements? Yeah?
If we don't if let's say like what we're working on right now is like season 1. If there ends up being like a season 2 and we don't do like a love story in season 1, I would like season 2 to be like sort of like a Bride of Scamp type of thing. You know what I mean? Just following the sort of like Bride of Frankenstein storyline and like really drawing that out. I think that'd be really interesting.
I thought you were going to say Bride of Chucky, but I like that too.
I mean, throw it all in there. There's so many things you could pull from. It'd be amazing.
I do like that. I almost like the idea of like if there was, let's say, a season 2, that in the season 2 is an exploration of Scamp like finding his way into famous horror universes, if assuming we could. And how he deals with like, now I'm in the wrong world. Like, how does he behave, act? Does he have superpowers? Does he not? So this is a hoodie that was designed by a member of Block of Horror. They got a Scamp token, which again, if you're interested, it's a perk of, hey, I want to be able to have like an official licensing ability to use a Scamp piece of IP and go do things with it. The only things you can't really do is like go make a movie and a TV show, but anything else is pretty much fair game. So, and again, feel free in the Discord, ask any questions about this. Our team's happy to help you kind of figure any of this out. But yeah, basically, I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool when he showed us this. What do you guys think?
This is wild. Look at this.
I love it. It's so
yes,
cute.
seriously.
Wait, and he showed us this. We're like, dude, that's amazing. Especially the tagline, I think, is hilarious. I think it's right on point with how all of us feel around some of these things out there. That no comment, but yes. So
seriously, that's such a good job.
It's funny.
Yeah. So I mean, and again, we'll post a link in Discord and tag it on the YouTube if anybody's interested. We're also going to talk to the artists to see what else they're interested in doing potentially. But
is he a designer?
He's got a store and he's putting this on his store now. So we're gonna.
That's cool.
I mean, I'll just go buy one just to support him as an artist, for doing this. And yeah, and again, this is just a small example of kind of what's possible. Like obviously, like merchandise and stuff like that. But that's kind of the cool aspect of Scamp isn't like Gremlins level yet, or Freddy Krueger or Chucky level yet. From like everybody knows about it. But to me, I like to dream the possibility of, well, what if it does become the next big, huge, Gremlins thing, and like I can go just make stuff with Scamp, and I'm not going to get in trouble for it, right? No one's going to come stop me. Like it's because that's the whole point, is to actually open up the lore and the characters to the broader community to also go do fun, cool, amazing things without a bunch of no, you can't do that, right? So that's all it really is fundamentally.
Is there anything on the back of it, or like what's the back look like?
I don't know. I mean, we'll drop the link. We'll drop the link to his store, and you can see it. And so, my question to you guys, since we're on the topic, is what type of, so if you had access to like, this type of opportunity IP, what type of stuff would you like to see or see a community member create with or do? Like, I think someone in the community even mentioned they want to do like a graphic novel with their Scamp and stuff like that. So I'm just curious, is there any kind of ideas?
I would love to see a graphic novel. We have so many great artists in the Discord that we could get really creative with that.
I would love just to have like a plush Scamp. I think that.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Also Scamp plushie.
Yeah.
Scamp squishy.
Yeah.
I'm looking into things. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to overpromise things, but I'm personally looking into what I can do with even my own Scamp because I think it's pretty cool that we have this opportunity. What about like a some ideas that I've heard rumored, like a fun cookbook or a fun like toilet reading Scamp adventure book, maybe.
That's funny.
Not that you have to read it when you're on the toilet, but
like a Captain Underpants type of Scamp adventure, that's funny.
Yeah, like Scamp's Underpants. Does he have underpants? He doesn't have
underpants.
He's naked.
I mean, that we could come up with this potentially.
Maybe the story is trying underpants for the day.
You know what? And you know what's cool about that, Alyssa, that you just said that is you could go make that.
I could.
Right? You don't need Crypt's permission because if you have the Scamp token, right, you can go do that. That's the whole point.
I could just do it right now.
And again, we understand not everyone's going to be able to do these huge, crazy things, but hey, maybe there's a way that other community members want to be a part of it or participate or whatever. We don't know. And again, this is kind of new territory, I think, for everyone. So it's exploratory, and I don't think there's any like real wrong answers. It's more so just, hey, how do we just like go make fun, cool stuff and like support each other in the process, the best way we can. So yeah, it's interesting. I've had a lot of ideas too. I'm just like, this would be fun. This would be cool, but maybe next year when I have time. Yeah, so that's it about that. So again, if anybody has any questions about any of that, like Scamp token, any of that stuff, feel free to hit us up in the Discord. That's going to be the easiest way for us to, give you any information you need. And if you're not interested in that, no worries. We're going to still keep telling stories in fun, creative ways and inviting you to be a part of it in the participation and just having fun with it. So now, the long-awaited and coveted Choose Your Nightmare choice. Maybe the final, we'll call this the final choice of
the final
season 1. We may have more episodes, but as far as like the real development, kind of nuts and bolts of the Choose Your Nightmare, this kind of, I feel like is the end of season 1. So, all right. You all ready?
Yeah.
Lay it on me.
It's a bit different than the ones we've had in the past. Okay.
Wait, did this come from the community or did you come up with this?
I mean, I think I came up with it, but it's not anything revolutionary. Some of my other ones were pretty clever. This one's like, but it's fun. It's a fun one. It's a fun one to end with, I think. All right.
Okay.
And it puts a little more pressure on you guys, which I like.
Great.
Okay.
Because you had a chance to think about it. All right. So, if you had to go on to save the world with 2 monsters by your side, one from Crypt's universe and one from any monster universe, which 2 would you choose? And if you need time, because it's a bit putting you on the spot, if you want me to go, I came up with what I think I would choose just to help you. So, yes, I went to the convenient, easy route, and I did choose Scamp for Crypt, and I'll tell you why, though. And I'm a sucker for Freddy Krueger. So those are my 2. Now let me tell you why. I chose Scamp. So on the surface, to lure my enemies with his cuteness, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, anyone sees Scamp, like, oh, it's a dog, like like we talked about in the Choose Your Nightmare. We can dress him up like a little service dog. No monster is really going to hurt a service dog. I mean, really, they will, but they won't. So, and then Freddy to take them all out in their sleep. So I think that's a pretty obvious, Freddy can do some cool things when they're sleeping. But also because Scamp, because with this Choose Your Nightmare angle we've been doing, we really opened up, I think, the Scamp Pandora's box and like the possibilities and the almost like maybe Scamp is like almost Thanos level. Like he's not right now, But I don't know, like more choose your nightmares stories around Scamp and community collaborated. Like maybe Scamp becomes this like he's the Thanos of monsters. I don't know, right? Because this opportunity to keep exploring him. So to me, I'm choosing Scamp because of the possibilities of what could come out with Scamp. So it's like maybe in the future he'll be this huge, big, can do almost anything type guy. So that's my rationale.
Okay, I'm gonna pick from Crypt. I'm gonna pick the Birch because the Birch is the protector.
That's a good one.
She can protect me. She can grow anywhere. She could make us a little tree house. So like we're gonna be good. And I can stick around whoever I want. And then just because you mentioned Nope earlier, I'm gonna say Jean Jacket. I'm gonna be the Jean Jacket tamer.
Yeah.
And
all right.
Jean Jacket is gonna eat everybody.
Go, Jean Jacket, go.
Probably. That sounds pretty powerful.
That's my plan.
No, I'm not going to mess with you. I'm going to hide.
team-up.
Me and Scamp are going to hide in the corner and wait for Freddy to get you in your dreams.
Yeah, don't try to feed Jean Jacket because we have a thing figured out and nobody else is gonna do it. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna mess with Alyssa. If she's got monsters, I'm gonna run the other way. Just gonna announce that right now.
Solid plan.
I know she would run circles around me and my monsters.
Okay, as far my team up, good question. I was gonna go with the Birch too, but now I gotta switch it up. It's gotta be different. So I think I would go with my out of Crypt TV universe monster would be Godzilla. Because this is for the like saving the world, right? This is like for a good cause.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I go Godzilla. I go big with Godzilla because I feel like I don't know what I'm going up against, like whether it's aliens attacking the world or if it's like a small little thing happening. So Godzilla for one, and then maybe like on a smaller scale, maybe Miss Anity. But we'd have to have a talk. Like we'd have to have like a serious talk about like, are we on the same page type thing? Because like I like her biting people and putting hallucinations in them is fantastic and really useful. Yeah. But at the same time, like. The reason she's doing it is kind of really not cool.
Moral compass skewed.
So we have to have like a sit down talk and be like, look, this is I know what you're doing back then, but now this is different and we got to be on the same page. So I would probably do that, I think. If she would cooperate. If she doesn't cooperate, I got to find someone else. I don't know who would be. It'd be a tough call.
Interesting. I wonder if we have, hold on, let's see. All right, objectively, who's winning between the three of our monster teams?
I kind of think Jean Jacket is going to wreck
Probably. Yeah, I think Jean Jacket. With the Birch, the team up there is pretty strong. That's a really good team up.
I don't know.
We got sky and the ground covered.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
I like my stealth angle. I'm not going to vote for me, but I like my it's stealthy. Like, I mean, how do you like? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen some good Freddy movies, but how do you get rid of him? Isn't he like? It's very hard to get rid of him. I feel like I can't remember which one.
I don't remember.
Figured out.
I mean, it kind of depends on which single.
But if your monsters, does your monster sleep?
No.
Because if it does,
no. Trees don't sleep.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Jean Jacket don't sleep.
Godzilla might take a nap every now and then. He probably.
Then he's done. He's done.
Yeah.
Freddy will get him. Yeah. Freddy will get him. I trust Freddy. and again, Scamp's my wild card. Scamp's my like. We don't. If the community turns him into Thanos, well, goodbye. So we'll see. But come on, community, come through with us.
None of us picked Looksee.
No one picked Looksee.
I thought about it.
Looksee, I feel like he's too hard to control. Like he has his own motives, and like he will do shit to you so that you think it's a good idea, but really it's for him.
Right, that's true. Also, wait a minute, hold on. If I had picked like Shelly or like Rapunzel, would I also get their partners too? Would it actually be like more of like a threesome than a team up? Would that work like that? Am I allowed to cheat like that?
I mean, for Shelly especially, I mean, I think they come as a pair. Yeah, Shelly and Oliver, and then Rapunzel and I forget her boyfriend's name.
Her melted boyfriend. Yeah, I can't remember.
Melted boyfriend.
Yeah.
Was it Kyle? I don't know.
Well, do we want to? I wonder, should we take some people's suggestions in the Discord? I think we're getting some interesting options.
Yeah, what are people saying?
Tell us, Alyssa. Pick out some that you think are worthy of a challenge to Alyssa's great team that can destroy it.
Well, Mad Jack is saying he would pick Looksee and Pennywise.
That would be
which
a messed
Pennywise
up
is
team
pretty
up.
good. Yeah.
That would be
Pretty good.
terrifying.
And then someone else is saying, Golodat is saying Looksy can teleport and Skinwalker can infect anyone who stands in its way. El Inca says, I would go with the Mordeo Queen and Suicide Clown, my own creation, to cover both urban and rural areas, so there's no escape. Suicide Clown?
Her own
This
creation.
is your own creation?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's
I need to know what
cool.
Suicide
I
Clown
like
does.
that. I like the boldness. I like the, you think you guys got monsters out there for 50
I got
years?
an original. I got an OG.
Here's mine.
Yeah, no, that's...
Which again, it's kind of like my scamp theory that like you could make them into whatever you want them to destroy everything. So yeah, they're right. They are right then. So yeah, smart.
He was about to put Danny DeVito. I realized we were talking about horror. Danny DeVito plays the Penguin, which is horror.
Yeah, exactly. That would work out 100%.
That's funny.
And wait, also he's the devil in the animated show on Hulu. Help me out. Remember what that is?
Nope.
Dang. That's really funny too. Shoot, I feel so bad I can't remember the title right now. Because I'd say go watch that right now. It's hilarious. It's all about the devil dealing with his like daughter he hasn't seen forever because the wife ran away. Anyway, doesn't matter. But it's really funny. Go on Hulu, you'll see it.
Okay.
Danny DeVito plays the devil.
Okay.
Love that. Wow. All right,
See him,
Mr. Have time to watch these things while you have kids.
My Little Demon. It came out last year. Bro,
Oh, yeah.
come on, get with it. Yeah.
I should check that out. Yeah, that sounds pretty good actually.
It is actually. It's really funny. It's not something to watch with the kids. It's very adult.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
She's 3. She doesn't really watch anything yet, so we'll get her there. It's gonna be hard to avoid Disney at some point here. Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on? I don't know. Love, life, horror.
Well, I hope
nightmares.
I hope our little like interview with Victoria and Aaron really kind of like, I don't know, inspires some folks in the crowd. I would really love to see some new projects from, our community kind of pop up and like, just see what people are doing.
I mean, it inspired me. I'm like looking around, what can I put? Right if I could use that. You see those masks behind me? I mean, that'll go on something. Paint it maybe.
And yeah, guys, I posted in the chat. Some people were asking about monster costumes. So I posted, there's a reel on Crypt's Instagram of Landon making the original Looksy mask. And then I also found, we had Jody Steele, who's a makeup artist, do a Looksy makeup tutorial. So she did one. And then there's one other link that I posted to a Looksy makeup tutorial. So people have tried many different versions of this. There's all kinds of materials that you can use that you might have around the house, or you can get professional. But yeah,
interesting.
But yeah, someone was asking how do you make monster costumes, and there's many different ways. So yeah, the Looksy mask, the original one, you can see in that reel that it's basically a paper mache mold. And then for the second Looksy mask, we ended up getting I believe it's Immortal Masks, which is a mask making company.
I love them.
They made the second Looksy mask is a nice latex or silicone one of those. But it's one solid piece.
That's
and
so
it's
cool.
So the original mask is much more fragile and doesn't go down as far. But then when we did the silicone version, it's stretchy, so it just holds much better and is easy to get on and off. But yeah.
That's like my dream. The one day I can like go to my wife and go, hey, I'm going to drop $500 on an Immortal mask.
Yes.
$600 on an Immortal mask. And she's going to be cool with it. Like that'll be the day I can die. I'll be happy.
It's worth it, dude.
Don't tell her.
Okay.
That'll really help.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, that new horror movie. Have you seen about that? Okay. So they did public domain, and then those are just 2 Immortal masks. That's the
I know.
Piglet is the hog Immortal mask, and then they got the bear, and they just repainted them, and they're just like, these are monsters now. Don't worry about it.
Resourceful. Well, actually, it makes me want to do because Choose Your Nightmare is one thing, but the Crypt Campfire, I think in general, can continue on in some capacity. And so we'll explore what that looks like. But, why not a Crypt Campfire, like do it yourself monster creation that we do with the community and stuff, because honestly, if you all are like, hey, let's go make monster masks, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna go to Walmart and go pick up some stuff, and I'm gonna go make I don't know, I never even thought I could do it, but now having this conversation today, I'm like, I want to go
You
make.
can
I want to
totally
go
do
make
it. You
that.
can totally
Right?
do it. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's a cool idea.
Dude, watch a few like Social House BTS videos. Pick up some techniques.
Yeah, we'll do some
Yeah.
do-it-yourself BTS videos.
And yeah, if we want
yeah.
to talk about costumes, we could get we should talk to Christina Cordum. She does a lot of the special effects. She did like the Birch special effects. She's done a ton of I was on set for the Birch, so I know how they did some of that stuff I could talk about. But yeah, if we got Christina, I think that would be super fun because she does so many cool special effects.
That would be cool.
No, I love all of that. That was super great. I think great way to kind of wrap all this up. So yeah, feel free to keep hanging out. If you're in the Discord, if you're not, feel free to pop in. You know, we want to make this an environment where you can have more access to doing more cool, fun things, and meeting people, connecting with them, collaborating, seeing what else we can come up with. So appreciate everyone's time, and thank you for joining us on this like development of Choose Your Nightmare, this kind of first iteration. And eventually we'll see where we can get this eventually output for you to experience and choose and see where that ends up. And we'll keep on keeping on and keep everyone posted as these things go. So
Hell yeah.
thank you. Any final thoughts, Alyssa or Ryan?
No. Thanks everyone for joining us. I really
Thanks for
appreciate it.
joining. Catch you next time.